Hey everybody, G-Bear here, March 9th, part 2. This is the afternoon, and I am showing you the back side of the cabin here, and you can see I have added the other solar panels. I got the original that I had here all this time is there. I have 2 on top of the shed. I have 6 new ones I just brought up, and then I have 3 Harbor Freights up on top there. So let's count them here. Those are 100 each, that's 600. Top ones are 100 each, that's 900. These all at the bottom equal 200, that's 1100. Then I've got 2 up there, 100 apiece, that's 1300. And that over there on top of the shed is 45, so 1345 watts, or 1.345 kilowatts. Now that's producing pretty good. That up there is supposed to be a 400 watt turbine. I've never been really happy with it, but it is making electricity, so it'll stay for a little while because I have other expenses to worry about. As long as it's making electricity, that's all I care about. Now that thing ran all night long, and I got up to a completely full battery bank. And speaking of battery banks, while I'm walking here, I'll explain to you how I got this unit off the trailer by myself. What I did was I actually pulled the trailer right up here sideways, so that was on the proper side. Then I attached the pole to the connections where it belongs, but I didn't tighten it, and I had that bar, that control bar off, so that I could flex it and move it around. Then what I did was I let it slide down on the trailer until it was leveled, and then that dropped the foot down to about right there in front of the slab with this one leg on top of the slab. And then I just stood the whole thing up and slid it back. Once I got it in place, I drilled and put my anchors in, so it's attached there. And these will eventually turn into cables like I did on the other one over there, the V cables. But for right now, I wanted to make sure I had something holding it because the wind is gusting. And the other thing I have to do is I have to change over. I added these diodes in here, and I don't really need them. Every one of these panels comes with its own diode. So I got double diodes on here. I'm just going to take those out, save them in case a diode goes bad. I can wire it straight together in there and put one of these diodes in and get it back working again. So I'm going to be taking those out, but I can't do it while I'm under load. So that's something I see it says here. Do not connect under load. So I want to make sure that I don't blow anything on these things when I have to do that. In the meantime, those are anchored in place. And let's move around here. There's the battery box. It's empty now. I took the roof part off of it because I don't need that anymore. And here we go. There's the original 8 that I had up here, plus 2. That was 10. The first 2 there. You can see they're slightly different color. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that's 9 times 232 amps. All right, let's come over here. This is the controller that I put in to handle those new batteries. Each one of these handles its own load. This one is handling the turbine and a couple of solar panels. This one's handling a bunch of solar panels. So this one is right now handling those 6 new ones, and that one is handling the 8 Harbor Freights out there that total 200 watts. Now you see this thing is flashing 14.4, 14.5. Well, that's more voltage than the batteries need. So you can see the arrow here is not showing that it's putting any solar charge into the battery. And I've got the load on, but I don't have anything connected to the load at this point. I can shut that off. It doesn't make any difference. I just leave it on because I'll end up hooking something onto there sooner or later. Now I've got the light on in here, running load off of that one because I have extra electricity I need to get rid of. And that's what's going on here. Let's see now. We're going to go through this thing here. So 23 degrees Celsius. No load amps because there's nothing connected. And there's my total. 7,237 amp hours. Hey, you think I got some electricity? You betcha. Now notice these are showing that the batteries are totally full. That's what these little squares are for. So I've got over 7,000, almost 7,500, I think it was, wasn't it? Let's see. Oh, 7,237. So 7,250 amp hours. So I can run 7,237 amps for an hour. Gee, I don't think I'll need that much. Anyway, right now I've got my jumper cables jumping the last set of batteries together here because I was short 2 pieces of cable. And I wanted to make sure that these all got onto the charger, the solar charge, because we got rain coming. So I wanted to make sure that my battery banks were incomplete. Now see down here, there's space for 2 more batteries. And I am planning on putting 2 more in there to give me a total of 20 batteries. And that'll probably jump that up to about 8,000 amp hours. And or 7,500 amp hours. And that should get me through the times without a problem, running everything I need to run. Okay, I moved over some stuff. I cleaned up a little bit here, and this little thing here that you see hanging, this was an old bucket handle, and the plastic handle part was all dried and cracked off. I found this, so I twisted those hooks to the side because they were actually 90 degrees off from what you see in them. And the reason I did this is these batteries, as you see right there, there's places to hook a strap on to carry them. So I made this unit and I just slide it in, hook it into both of those things, and then I could use 2 hands to carry the battery like that in front of me instead of having to wrap my fingers underneath it and run the risk of getting a black fingernail from letting that thing slam down on me. All right, down here, this is a battery lifesaver. That helps keep the batteries from sulfating. I've had that on the battery banks that have been down in the OC all this time, the last 8 I just brought in, and those batteries are just like new. There's absolutely no loss of life in them, and the electrolyte in them is all right up to par. So that thing really does work, and I did some reading on it. The military's been using them for quite a few years on all their vehicles to keep the batteries lasting longer in all of their vehicles. So I decided to try one, and it does work. Now they have yellow ones that are actually desulfators, that if you have a sulfated battery will actually help reverse the sulfation and bring the battery back. So I don't know if that works or not. This one here prevents the sulfating from occurring in the first place. So that's the way I went. All right. I've got my dump load up here, but never did tie it in. I just have some alligator clips on there for right now, just so that I don't cut myself on those tabs sticking out. But that's what I could use to eat up the extra electricity, and it'll actually produce heat in this room. Well, I'm in the desert. I don't really need that. And these things put off enough heat themselves just from running here on a regular basis. So, hey, that's that. All right. We have this part taken care of. Let's move down and get to the next section. because my ATV's out right now, but the rains are coming tomorrow. I will be putting this away. I did unload the trailer completely today. I had everything except the solar panels done before lunch, and then by 1 o'clock, 1:30, I had the solar panels hooked up. And there's the trailer now sitting there empty with just my ramps on there, and I'll be putting those inside so that they're not sitting out here. And I've got the chains wrapped around the hook so that it can't be loaded up, and I'll have a padlock on that because this one's staying here. I might take it back down on next trip if I have a large load that I have to bring up, but I think I can handle everything with the small trailer or the rack on the back of the van and everything inside the van. Now you see what I've done here. I unloaded all the boxes out of the van. This is all kitchen stuff in these boxes, so I put it right here because this is sooner or later going to have to get used up. The 3 full barrels of water, easy enough to move those. I just had the ramps coming down off the back of the trailer right here. Just walked those over to the edge and just slid them right down the ramps, put them in place. There's my Dutch oven. I love my Dutch oven. And these boxes are all bathroom stuff. So I put those all together in one group. Then I got my welder, my oxyacetylene, and my bender is now on the rack. I lowered that down like I promised I would on the earlier video. And then I've got all my bedroom stuff, clothes and bedroom sheets and that stuff are all in those 4 boxes. And then I have this big load that I've got to get out of here because I'm going to need the room. All of this stuff is going to go into my garden house, and it'll be protected there. If I leave it outside, the crows come over and tear into it. And even the 2 bags of wood shavings that are on my front porch, when I got back, they had peck holes in the side of them. So I've got to put everything under cover, otherwise when I'm not around, it gets damaged. Now this unit, I'm thinking what I may do is I've been using a Harbor Freight little tiny water pump, solar water pump in my big water tank over there, just to move the water around to keep it from going stagnant. Well, I just checked that pump and it burnt out. So, hey, it's a piece of junk. I've had probably a dozen of them in the past. I think they even quit selling them because they were such a piece of junk. But it was what I had at the time. I just stuck it in there to work. I think I'm going to take the 50-watt solar panel out of this one. And I have a 12-volt bilge pump for a boat, brand new. And I will rig that up with this solar panel fastened to the top of the water tank. And I'll drop that in there, and that'll move the water around and keep it moving so it won't go stagnant on me. Water is a precious commodity. You got to take care of it. Anyway, that tank is still where the dome comes down and meets the seam before the sides come down. It's still that full since November. Plenty of water in there. I was going to water all of these trees, but we got rain coming tomorrow, so no need wasting water. All right, I'm going to close everything up, lock her all down, and I've already set a couple of my clocks ahead because Sunday or early Sunday morning, Saturday night is time change. So I like doing mine on Friday night. It gives me a little extra time to get used to the time change. Let's come on inside here and I'll show you. So up there it's saying it's almost 4:30. Okay, now this clock has a built-in time change on it. It does daylight savings time automatically, so it's almost 3:30. There's an hour difference. This one I already changed and it's almost 4:30. And it's 80 degrees and 19% humidity. So it's beautiful out. I've been walking around with just a pair of shorts and flip-flops on all day. The wind is blowing, creating electricity. Here we are on the electricity, so I can read it from inside. That's 14.3, 14.4, flashing back and forth. No charge going in, and I do have the load turned on because I have my cell phone wires here. I plug my cell phone in. Now this little unit here is plugged into the AC power, and I'll be taking this home with me because I've canceled my cable internet as of the 1st. And in between the 1st and the final move out, I'm going to be trying to be out here completely by the 15th. I'll be up and down a couple of times a week between now and then. But this thing is a jetpack, and it allows up to 8 devices to connect to it wirelessly, like Wi-Fi. And it's fast. It's really fast. And it frees up my phone. So when I'm uploading videos, I can still have my phone for other things. The jetpack takes care of the internet for me. And I have my laptop or my netbook here connected into that too. So heck, I can multitask. That's cool. I want to mention that last night the heater, I had it set for 68 degrees on the thermostat, but the heater never came on all night long. It got down into 49 degrees, I think, last night. And inside of here, it was 70 the whole time. That thing just ran on just a pilot light. So insulation in this thing is really good. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Insulation is important. And if you're going to build yourself a homestead, spend a little extra money and time on getting good insulation. Even the floor of this thing, I'm going to be putting hardwood floor in here. This is just the subfloor, the underlayment. I'll be putting hardwood floor on top of this, but below this, in between the floor joists, the 2x6 floor joists, I've got R30 insulation and a sheet of plywood on the bottom of the floor joists so that no bugs and dirt and mice or whatever can come up from underneath and make nests in it. So this floor is well insulated. I could walk around in this thing barefooted when it's 19, 20 degrees outside, and this floor is just same temperature as the rest of the room. All right, that's about it, people. I'm gonna call it a day. I'm running a little long on this video, but I had a lot to cover. And I will show you a video tomorrow when the rains come. And I'm going to try to get a few other things done in the morning. I got everything ready so that I can go pick up another load. And I will be doing that this week. So, G-Bear signing off. Another episode of Homesteading the Desert. Now, don't forget, at the bottom of this video, click on the bear to subscribe. And it'll show you some of my other videos that you should watch. It'll probably show you the last one I posted down at the bottom there. So please subscribe. I need subscribers. I've got to get to 1,000. They took my monetization away and changed the rules on me. So now I need 1,000 subscribers to get my monetization back. I'd appreciate it. Send it to your friends. Send it to your family. Tell them all to subscribe and help Bear out. G-Bear signing off.